Good evening. We're going to do our pledge allegiance, and then we're going to take a moment of silence for Richie Longfield, father-in-law of town engineer Dave Fritz, Karen Grisworth, wife of Bloomberg Fire Chief Charles Grisworth, the 4 victims of the Tucson Medical Center shooting in Oklahoma, Dan Miller, a big part of youth baseball in the town of Wallkill, Middletown area. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our town board. First, let me start by recognizing some of our dignitaries here today. Representing Senator James Skoufis, we have Mike. Mike, I'm gonna try to say your last name. Anna Anastakis, who also happens to be a county legislator. Thank you for attending. As we proceed, we might have other dignitaries who might come in. So first, we're going to start with presentation on Juneteenth. We have the honor of having Bishop James Rowling Sr., who is the founder and senior pastor of Tabernacle Church and Multicultural Ministry in Middletown, New York. He's a respected spiritual leader and community servant in the area that we live in. He has served on many boards in our community, mostly for nonprofit. He is also the former president of the Middletown NAACP and a former city councilman in the city of Middletown. He is honored to be married to his life partner, Pamela Rollins, for 43 years. They have 3 adult children and 5 grandkids. His most crowning achievement is being a servant of God, a husband, and a father to his kids and his grandkids. With that, Bishop, all yours.
Mic is on.
Okay. Yeah, I need the mic a lot.
They often confuse him with Barry White.
I'm sorry, I don't have a copy of this presentation for the general public, but I will be glad to leave a copy behind so that if there is anyone from the community that would like a copy of the presentation, you're more than welcome to get a copy of it. I did bring a copy for all of our board members. Supervisor. Thank you, sir. There.
Actually, put it on the website afterwards, and maybe give a copy to her.
Awesome. That would be great. You're making copies now. If you're doing that, you want me to wait until you get copies? Or just start and then they can go ahead and they can take those copies with them as they prepare to leave. Excellent. Okay. I took the liberty. Good evening, everyone. When we talk about the subject of Juneteenth, for those who are familiar with this national holiday, it was just celebrated this past weekend. And I am indeed honored to have the opportunity to speak to this august legislative body, namely the Town of Walk Hills Board. And thank you for the invitation to present. I was always taught that you give honor to whom honor is due. And so I would never leave without making sure that that indeed has taken place. I also provided a copy of a Juneteenth fact sheet, which is a direct result of the Congressional Research Service, so that this legislative body has an opportunity to actually review and gain an even better understanding from a legislative perspective as to what Juneteenth is all about. Juneteenth, or should I say, when we come out of the blocks, the first question, of course, may very well be, what is Juneteenth? Juneteenth is one of America's oldest holidays and represents a day of independence. Though it is a history that has been marginalized and still remains largely unknown. Outside of the Black and African American community, Juneteenth falls on June 19th each year, and its name affectionately comes from when it occurs, which is in June, on the 19th day. It marks the day celebrated from June 19th, 1865, when federal troops led by General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas. General Granger read the General Order Number 3, which declared, and I quote, "The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection heretofore existing between them becomes that between employer and hired labor. The freedmen are advised to remain quietly at their present homes and work for wages. They are informed that they will act, or should I say that they will not be allowed to collect at military posts, and that they will not be supported in idleness either there or elsewhere." Juneteenth was officially recognized as a Texas state holiday in 1980. Soon followed by other states, Juneteenth finally became a federal holiday on June 17th of last year. The irony of that is really something, because now all 50 states and the District of Columbia recognize Juneteenth as a holiday or observance. And unfortunately, only 18 states have enacted laws to observe the holiday as a paid state holiday. Many view Juneteenth as the effective end of slavery in the United States. However, its history is complicated, and this perspective does not capture a complete story. Juneteenth and the emancipation of enslaved people in the United States. By the time General Granger assumed command of the Department of Texas, the Confederate capital in Richmond had fallen. The executive to which he referred was none other than President Lincoln, who was dead by this time, and the 13th Amendment that abolished slavery does not capture a complete story. By the time, I should say, a writer by the name of Van Newkirk notes, Juneteenth commemorates a belated liberation because it happened 2.5 years after the actual Emancipation Proclamation was actually written. And as a result, it freed enslaved people in Confederate states. But here's what's interesting. It only freed those in Confederate states that were engaged in rebellion against the Union. Now, I might add that that's a little bit, I should say a little noteworthy, and that even in 2022, we are hearing rumblings of the state of Texas actually seceding from the Union. President Lincoln's famous Emancipation Proclamation was declared on January 1st, 1863, which freed enslaved people in Confederate states engaged in rebellion against the Union. Yet even the Emancipation Proclamation was not a full liberation Declaration, as some border states and Confederate states controlled by the Union were exempt from the mandate of emancipation. Those states, of course, included Kentucky, Delaware, Missouri, and even Maryland. I thought it was very interesting as we look at that. The holiday spread throughout the country as Black Texans moved north into the Great Migration. And even 100 years later, when the likes of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, who actually stood and continued to declare the importance of the Emancipation Proclamation, and nearly 100 years later, Juneteenth had not been forgotten. In fact, delegates took the idea of Juneteenth's celebration back to their communities across the country to fight for civil rights. And another great Black migration, as scholar William H. Wiggins noted, Dr. Henry Louis Gates, who many are familiar with, said this: "It is possible that Juneteenth would have vanished from the calendar, at least outside of Texas, had it not been for another remarkable turn of events during the same civil rights movement that he exposed to many of the country's shortcomings about race relations, actually occurred at the tail end rather of the movement, two months after its most prominent leader, who was Dr. King, was actually shot down. As it's well known, Dr. King had been planning a return to the site of his famous 'I Have a Dream' speech in Washington, D.C. And he was going to lead a poor people's march emphasizing nagging class inequalities. But following his assassination, it was left to others to carry out the plan. When it became clear that the Poor People's March was falling short of its goal, the organizers decided to cut it short. On June 19th, 1968, well aware that it was now just a century since the first Juneteenth celebration in Texas, the legacy of the disadvantages of enslaved people has reverberations that last to this day. The lack of economic opportunities, the lack of actual rights to vote, and later the effective right to vote, Jim Crow laws, mass incarceration, and more. Thus, it is important to note that when debating which date may represent emancipation, some point to December 6th, 1865, when the 13th Amendment technically abolished illegal slavery. However, even this date does not capture full liberation, as the 13th Amendment created a loophole that allowed, and continues to this day, the enslavement of an imprisoned population. Many argue that because of this loophole, slavery was rebranded, and as evidence reveals, there is a disproportionate number of minorities who are incarcerated, Black and brown people in America. Unfortunately, other forms of racism also persist, and because of this, many argue that full liberation is yet to be granted to the larger Black African American community. But all is not lost. America as a whole, the discrimination, violence, and lifelong servitude that Black and brown, Black African American people were forced to endure, as well as the strength, courage, intelligence, and resiliency required to endure it. In addition to many contributions enslaved people made throughout history, and the contributions that Black and African Americans continue to make today, should be learned and reflected upon. Commemorating Juneteenth, and this is the part that is encouraging to me, because I give credit to where credit is due. When I talked to Supervisor Mr. Serrano, and he talked about the importance of this, and when he contacted me and said, while they weren't going to just haphazardly throw something together this year, they wanted to be informed in a way that they could, in fact, initiate the commemoration of such an important holiday in a way that would unite the communities, and we could all celebrate the victories, not only of our differences, but also of our achievements. Commemorating Juneteenth can also provide an opportunity to recognize a moment that represents progress in the realm of human and civil rights, as well as recognize the need for more equity. As a society, we should continue to think about what we can do to enact change and justice. taking action and participating in celebrations and service to our communities like the town of Walk Hill. Focused on racial injustice is a powerful way to commemorate and reflect. We should also consider policies or practices that support the continued advancement of people of color. And in closing, we should remember Juneteenth as a holiday that doesn't commemorate a document. We should remember Juneteenth as a holiday that does not commemorate a battle. We should remember Juneteenth not as a holiday that commemorates a birthday or a national tragedy. But Juneteenth should remember because of the fundamental promise of America being more completely realized by all of its citizens. Thank you very much. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful words.
Thank you, sir.
On behalf of the town board, thank you for coming out here tonight. I'm going to present you with a certificate to Bishop James A. Rawlings in recognition for Juneteenth, a celebration of freedom and a holiday commemorating the effective end of slavery in the United States of America.
I might add, even as I receive the certificate, it's an honor. I've often said to people, and I say it to my congregation, life is made up of both mountains and valleys. Mountains are not designed for travel. They're designed for celebration. Valleys are designed for travel from one mountain to the next. You can see one mountain top to the next mountaintop, but in order to get there, you got to go down in the valley. And if we go down in the valley together and recognize what we've learned, we'll get to the next mountaintop. Very good.
Strong words. Thank you. Thank you, Bishop. Next, in celebration of Pride Month, we're going to have a presentation by Jewish Family Services, who we've have a partnership with, and we'll speak of how they look at the workplace and how they've been looking at ways to be more inclusive, how they train their staff to be allies of the LGBTQ plus seniors in our community. It will be Jill Marie Rothschild and Hailey Johnson during the presentation. Thank you.
Good evening. Jill Marie Rothschild. I'm the Executive Director at Jewish Family Service of Orange County. And as Supervisor Serrano says, we partner with this municipality with our Friendly Visitor and our Safety Net program. And so our focus within this municipality and that partnership is really supporting seniors within the community, 60 and over. And so when asked to come and present tonight, I was a little, I wasn't so sure, quite honestly. You know, we're not an agency that specializes in advocacy and education regarding LGBTQ community. But as an ally myself and as an educator up at SUNY New Paltz in the social justice program, I felt that, you know, I certainly could come and educate and really discuss how we look at it as a nonprofit agency, how we support the community, and really hopefully leave you all with some ideas and some thought-provoking things as to what you can do within your spaces, within your regulations, within all the things that a township has to go through and look at, and how you can make sure that that feels inclusive to this community. So no clicker, right? Okay, good. So our mission at Jewish Family Service is that we empower all people facing challenges to live with dignity and hope and strength. Our doors are open to the entire community, and we're just so happy to be able to partner with municipalities who see the same values and mission in the communities that we do as well. Partners, there you are right in the middle, town of Walk Hill, but we can't leave out all of our rest of our funders, which is from Office of the Aging at the county level. We have 7 other municipalities in Orange County that we partner with for this program. We partner Jewish Federation, which is where we stemmed from way back when, 38 years ago. And then we came up, went on our own, if you will, and formed our own 501(c)(3). But United Way of Dutchess, the Orange region, they are a huge supporter in what we do. Again, really looking at marginalized communities and really figuring out ways that we can empower all people. We serve, as I mentioned, 55 and older. We also work with adults with disabilities. We also have children. We work with children with disabilities. And our larger program this year, thanks to some FEMA grant money, is we have a financial empowerment program that's assisting everyone that's been affected by COVID. So we're well-rounded. Even though our partnership with the town of Walk Hill is specifically with the senior community, we do multiple things at Jewish Family Service. So I think that's just important to take away. We actually were most recently granted a grant from Orange County Youth Bureau to work with LGBTQ youth within the school district. That was a program that we had many years ago, and then obviously COVID and school closed down, but that's an advocacy program that we partner with the youth within our local high schools. We help them put together a conference. We teach them how to build conferences, how to be advocates, and really come together and really strengthen their voices at that age. So hopefully our video is going to work. So as Supervisor Serrano said, part of my mission with our staff and with our communities is education. And so this gives you just a little glimpse as to why we feel that it's really important to have information, empathy, and perspective in regards to LGBTQ senior citizens in our community. So we'll play that.
Lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people. We were both born in 1947. In 1967, Tina meets Frank, and Jackie meets Francis. On a day with Francis after work, Jackie is seen by a co-worker who tells their boss. Jackie is legally pregnant and takes a lesser paying job. In 1973, Tina meets Frank, but Jackie is unable to. In the 80s, Tina and Frank are sure, but Jackie and Francis are from not. After decades of hard work, in 2002, Frank Francis retired. Tina takes Social Security stuff. But because the federal government did recognize sex marriages, Jackie is denied those benefits. In 2015, Frank had the freedom to carry the constitution. Frank and Francis died. Social Security survivor benefits and Jackie is now in social security and she was not a legal spouse is also denied Francis pension. If her partner would and her state lacks non-discrimination protections in housing. So Jackie is evicted when she tries to change the lease into her name. Lacking an income, Jackie moves into a nursing home she fears discrimination. She hears stories about the past, so she doesn't talk about her life. And has the support of her children. After a lifetime of discrimination, LGBT individuals face economic insecurity, poor health, and reduced support networks. influence of LGBT adults at LGBT/org.
What I really enjoy about this video and what I think that it really highlights is when we're talking about retirement, when we're talking about pension, when we're talking about equity. And we all know that as we age, that is a determinant of our health. If you own your home, if you have health insurance, if you have the ability to bring care in so you can maintain your livelihood within your own home and community. And so what I think we often forget, because we're celebrating Pride Month and we like to, we've come so far, there's the different generational outcomes and what they've experienced over the years and where they are at now. So in this example, both of those women are now 67, 68. And you can see the disparity, right? Because of laws that have happened in the past, because of discrimination that's happened in the past, and that has a significant impact on how they are living their life today. And so we go through this with our staff, with our partners, because it's a lens in which you really need to think about. When you're supporting folks in the community, our own perspective and experience is not necessarily the same perspective and experience of the people that we're trying to support. And you have to put on that lens and really think about the variables that they've experienced in their life. And then you can meet them where they're at. That's one of our favorite phrases, meet people where they are at. But what that means is having a realistic understanding of how they got there, how they are where they're meeting them. So we think about awareness, we think about advocacy, things for you to discuss as a group. As an agency, I came in and we took a real look at our forms. We're doing
people. And I think it's important that we, as a community, look at our seniors. And we're looking to present this to our senior center next week. And hopefully they can understand that there is people in the community who want to help them, along with the town of Walk Hill. So with that being said, I would like to present a certificate. The town of Walk Hill Town Board would like to celebrate JFC for the great strides they have made in the town LGBTQ plus community. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you. We are just greatly appreciative of our partnership with your township and the support. We know that there's trust. And so just thank you for having us and instilling that trust in what we do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we would like to recognize some of our members, community members who are in our town, lifelong residents who have been really good to the town over the years, just with small businesses. People say, why do I do ribbon cuttings in our community? One of the reasons is small businesses are very important to the town. We have the big boxes, we have the Walmart, the Targets, that's great. But our small businesses is what needs to be supported. So to me, I want to showcase to the community new small businesses that come into town and people can see it. So they can see, wow, that's that place over there. It's new. What was going on there? And it has helped. And hopefully we as a community need to support our small businesses. With that being said, our first honoree, I'm going to call Stephen Sturman, who's an active member with the Temple Zion Men's Club's National Program for Exclusion. And he's a 36-year business owner for Transformational Family Salon. Thank you. Speak up. Thank you.
I'm just going to take one moment. First of all, I just want to thank Town of Walk Hill, Jewish Family Services, and especially Executive Director Rothschild for the things that you've said. We're humbled by being honored for doing nothing more than living our lives. Rob and I have been together. November will be 48 years. In that time, we've seen quite a bit of change in the way people are treated, not just LGBTQ community, but other communities as well. And we've been extremely fortunate in our lives to have family, friends, loved ones, co-workers, organizations, and houses of worship that have been welcoming, accepting to us. Many people don't have that same good fortune. And this inclusion is going to go a long way to help people understand how important it is to be inclusive to many of the diverse groups that are out there. As well, now immediate past president of Temple Sinai, I've had the good fortune of dealing with people about this, but also as a member of the Temple Sinai Men's Club and president of the Hudson Valley Region Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs. We've gone a long way also in this respect. This past year, I had the good fortune and privilege of being asked to be on a joint commission of Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs and Women's League of Conservative Judaism to put together an inclusion program for synagogues and other organizations looking to either establish or expand their inclusion programs. We've recently finished it and it's going to be rolled out. Part of it includes a 34-page inclusion resource guidebook. There'll be a speakers bureau, PowerPoint presentations, and a full program for promoting inclusion internationally. So again, thank you all for honoring us for just living our lives.
Thank you. And if Robert could come up, he's a lifelong resident and a partner in the business with Stephen. His family did own a dairy farm in the town, and he's chairman of the board for the North.
That's Congregational Church.
There you go. That's it. Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, I would like to add one thing. Not only feeling like we are loved in this community, but the Ingracia family has always been on our side. The town of Wallkill is so blessed to have them with them, and I'd like to thank them personally. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right, Gabby.
I heard cookies. I heard cookies. Oh, I love cookies. Okay.
That's why he went up for the hug. He wants to lock it in.
I'll keep my comments to when I do my comments. Next, we have public participation, 3 minutes on agenda item zoning. Anyone on Zoom? Anyone in the audience?
Ovid Figueroa, Bulmer Road. Just want to point out again that the public comment at the end is now down to 5 minutes from 3, reducing the time public has to speak in public. As well, you know, the presenters today were fantastic. I thought that was pretty amazing. And I'm glad we did all that. But it almost seems like an afterthought and a disappointment where we had plenty of time to do this. Mr. McLean had mentioned Juneteenth repeatedly over the last few months. There's plenty of time for the town to put something together. Hopefully next year we can actually put something together sooner and, you know, do this properly and get a good event going, just like we are doing with everything else, the celebration, all the other stuff in town. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on Zoom? Anyone in the audience?
Alan McLean, 46 Whitman Court. I agree with Mr. Figueroa. For 3 months, I spoke about Juneteenth. I spoke about slavery in this town, and this board has decided to ignore me. Mr. Rollins said that you guys didn't want to roll out something last minute. This was last minute. To throw these flags up here and to throw these banners up here, you were better off just throwing red noses and hats on with the bozo hat, because this is disrespectful. I can't speak for the LGBT plus community, but to the Black community, who we do know were enslaved in this community, and to know that the date that they were freed just passed, and to do this event 4 days later is so disrespectful and so insulting. And I hope in a few months when you guys are knocking on doors, people do remember this.
Anyone on Zoom? Public? Okay, we'll move on to correspondence. Do we have any correspondence? Thank you. Resolutions?
Resolution of the Town Board of the Town of Wallkill appointing seasonal interns. Resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Wallkill hereby appoints the following persons to the position of seasonal intern to serve in the Town of Wallkill departments noted below at a salary of $13.20 per hour, effective as of June 23rd through the summer season, pending completion and submission of all appropriate documentation. And I apologize in advance on these names because I'm old. Kalisha Lawrence, Lillian Velasquez, Gabriella. Will, what do you got? Ukijanya, Belaya Clavier, and our pal Abigail Gomez. May I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Mr. Coyne,
Yes.
Mr. Valentin, Mr. Meyer,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Supervisor Serrano.
Yes.
That's all I have, sir.
Mr. Supervisor?
Yes.
I'm just going to ask the board for a motion. I sent an email out earlier today with respect to the resolution that was previously passed regarding the dial-a-bus acquisitions. I received communication this afternoon from Carrie Christensen at Orange County that the buses are not 2023 buses, they're 2022 model buses, and she needs us to amend the resolution. They're still brand new buses. No other terms have changed from that resolution, just the model year. So may I ask you to make a motion to authorize the change to that resolution from 2023 Ford buses to 2022 buses?
I make a motion to change from the 2023 to the 2022 buses.
Second.
Mr. Coyne,
Yes.
Mr. Valentin,
Yes.
Mr. Meyer,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Supervisor Serrano.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll amend that and we'll send that into the county. Thanks.
thank you. Now we go to the councilman's comments. We'll start with Councilman Cohen.
Okay, I'll start with highway. For the month of June, we paved Baker Road and a large section of Van Duzer Road. We have also done some drainage upgrades on Western Avenue. We're still working on Sands Road, prepping that road to be paved. We have our roadside mowers out there, so please be patient and drive carefully when you see the roadside mowers. Mike Almick and the entire highway department would like to wish everyone a happy and safe 4th of July. Moving on to Veterans Affairs, Post 1181. They want to remind you that they meet the first Tuesday of every month at 7:30 at West Warren Drive. The Vietnam Memorial Wall Committee on July 2nd and 3rd will be at the Great American Weekend in Goshen. And on July 3rd, we'll be at the fairgrounds for the fireworks. Come see us. Comments? So first, I'd just like to say, oh wait, no, you know what? The Assessors Department. I apologize. Assessors Department has finished working with the Board of Assessment Review on all applications submitted for grievance review. All grievance determinations will be mailed out by July 1st. The final assessment roll will be published July 1st, 2022 on the town and county websites and may also be viewed in person at the assessor's office. Data collection will resume after July 1st for property inspections throughout the town. And as always, for information and questions for the assessment staff, call 845-692-7810 during town hall business hours. Comments, just wanted to thank Bishop James Rawlings and Jill Marie Rothschild. Excellent presentations tonight, very informative. Goes a long way in educating people about the two topics, so I want to thank them. On June 9th, I want to thank the police chief and Rosie Otero Walsh. On June 9th, myself, along with Councilman Valentin, we received awards from the Orange County Youth Bureau. And the Youth Coalition is who nominated us for this. And I didn't even know these awards existed. Little shocked and humbled when I got the phone call, but it was for our work with the youth over the years. And, you know, I've been with the Youth Coalition since day one. Chief will tell you about the mini golf days and the bowling and everything else, but I just want to say thank you so much. It's much appreciated. So, and And I guess the last couple things, have a safe 4th of July. And congrats to the class of 2022. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Councilman Valentin.
Okay, I will start with the police committee. Our current staffing is at 47 full-time staff. We've been actively recruiting applicants and will be reporting back on the names of those hired who will be entering the police academy in August. Arrest year to date are up 6.5%, 440 from 2022 versus 413 on 2021. On June 2nd, the Town of Walker Police Community Council hosted a well-attended forum on domestic violence. The forum was moderated by Chief Hertman and included Orange County District Attorney David Hoofler, News 12 reporter and victim advocate Blaise Gomez, Director of Fearless, Hudson Valley Kelly Ann Costo Laria, and Arnoldi Gil Esposito, Director of the Orange County Human Rights Commission, as speakers. We look forward to the Police Community Council hosting additional forums later this year. I have to tell you that forum was not only very informative, but I believe that those that attended and those that were listening to it, it really touched a nerve as to domestic violence, what kind of domestic violence. We always think it's just, a man and a woman, but it expands beyond that. It expands into the family, to extended families, and especially the kids that suffer from it. Hopefully it provided a lot of information and a lot of contact for those that need it in that forum. Our youth coalition, unfortunately, the June 12th softball game between the police and the youth had to be postponed. The rumor that the game was postponed because Chief Hertman needed more time to perfect his pitching skills is untrue. We will announce a makeup date soon. As mentioned, on June 9th, the Orange County Youth Bureau held an annual award ceremony at SUNY Orange. Congratulations to our young youth, Christian Madden, Joseph Maldonado, Selena Rivera, Anaya Testillo, on being awarded the Outstanding Leadership Award. Congratulations to Carlos Sierra on receiving an award for being Outstanding Business Partner. And the next meeting for our community center is community youth meeting will be 7 p.m. on Tuesday, July 19th. To tell you, these kids come from our community. They go to our schools, they get involved with our program. And I've said this before, if you look across the nation and you look to fix the world and make it a better place, that's where you start, because the kids are the future. And I'll say it the way I always say it, it's God's way of saying there's still hope in the world. So it was a great day to see our kids get awarded and acknowledged for their participation in the work that they do in our program. Our National Night Out Against Crime this year will be held August 2nd at the Town of Walk Hill Little League. Additional details are forthcoming. In April, the town board met with Elena Asafo, sorry about the name, the Tri-County Community Partnership. During the meeting, Elena proposed that the town partner with TCCP to place Narcan in locations throughout the town where it would be accessible to those in need. Narcan is a nasal spray that can be administered to someone suffering from an overdose. On April 18th, Elaine met with Chief Hertman, Sergeant Laux, and Police Officer Cardone. With assistance from Police Officer Graham, 7 locations were identified where the Narcan will be placed. Sergeant Marcial has taken over this project. We are currently meeting with the proprietors of the location. Subsequently, we will be making a public announcement identifying those locations. As far as our accreditation, we have issued approximately 20% of the policies required under the accreditation standards. John Vespucci, the accreditation manager, recently provided a report to the board that includes an update and future goals. We remain on target to complete the process in the allotted 18-month period. drug recognition expert. Congratulations to Police Officer Michael Cadone on his recent graduation from the Drug Recognition Expert School in Albany, New York. A drug recognition expert, DRE as it's known, is skilled in detecting and identifying persons under the influence of drugs and identifying the category or the categories of drugs causing the impairment. Officer Cadone was one of the 13 officers selected from a pool of 80 candidates to participate in the school. The school is broken down into 3 phases. The first 2 phases include 72 hours of classroom and standard field sobriety tests, proficiency testing, and training. The third phase took place in Philadelphia and included more than a week of hands-on training performing evaluations on subjects under the influence of various drugs. The DRE program is a vital tool for law enforcement agencies across the state to combat the rise in impaired driving. The legalization of marijuana in New York has resulted in a measured increase in impaired drivers. ITSMR, the Institute of Traffic Safety Management and Research, reports that drivers evaluated for driving while impaired during a period from 2018 to 2020 showed 64% were impaired by cannabis. Approximately 85,000 incidents of impaired driving occur on New York roadways every day, with only 1 in every 500 resulting in an arrest. Officer Cadone and other DRE across New York will have a positive impact on those numbers. Remember, if you plan on consuming alcohol, use a designated driver, ride surface or public transportation. Assuming alcohol or drugs prior to operating a vehicle is dangerous and may result in the arrest. Impaired driving is drunk driving. Thank you, Chief, for those details. Moving into our parks, the town's Lions Club are having their annual fishing derby this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m., 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Registration starts at 8 for kids 4 to 15 years old. The Town of Walk Hill Soccer Club has 35 teams playing in a youth soccer tournament this Saturday and Sunday from 7:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. at Circleville Park. Our summer camp starts June 27th. There are 270 registered kids and they have a large waiting list. So for our Boys and Girls Club, they run our summer camp program. Years ago, we decided, and it turned out to be a better design for parents, to break up the camp into 4 two-week sessions. This allowed kids to be in camp, go on vacation if they were going on vacation during the summer, and then be able to start a new session. So they run from 9 to 3, and they also have and provide the parents with a before camp program and an after camp program. The before camp program runs from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and after camp program runs from 3 to 6 p.m. Our sessions start June 27th, and the first one will go up to July 8th. The second one starts July 7th, running to July 22nd. The third being July 25th to August 5th, and the last August 8th to August 19th. If you get onto the website for the Boys and Girls Club, you can see all the information, see where to register. It's also will provide you with a pricing. So residents and non-residents, there's a different price for each one, and take a look there for that. Swimming and boating will be open 7 days a week, starting Monday, the 27th, going through Labor Day. And the fencing install for the new dog park at Circleville Park has started this week. Fencing should be completed and end by the end of this week, next week. Last but not least, the golf club house siding replacement projects is approximately 80% complete and should be done in the next 2 weeks. As far as comments, good luck to all our graduates, big and small. Enjoy the summer and make the most of it, because it goes very quick and we're back to school, and hopefully back to school in a healthy environment. To those people that see unkept properties, the town does have a code that if the grass is not cut to a certain length and left unkept, if you call our building department, we will put them on the list and we will go out there and cut that grass, and the property will be charged on their taxes. Last but not least, comments were made earlier. You know, I've been on this board for a long time, and there's so much negativity in the world right now. There's so much ugliness going on, so much, you know, as we move forward to positive things, then we see how much more we have to do to move forward within the different communities, within people of color and people of different sexes. And so when we try to do something that is positive, and I've been here a long time, this is the first time that we've done something like this. And I give credit to the supervisor and this town board to support these things. I recognizing and identifying the LGBT community, the Black community, you know, it's a step forward. It's something that wasn't done before that was done. Whether it was big or small, it was done. And it's a step in the right direction. It's something that needs to be open, something that needs to be discussed, and it's positive. So, you know, let's start being more positive and counting our blessings for things that are coming and moving forward instead of just calling out the ugliness. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Meyer.
Thank you. I do want to thank Bishop Rollins for coming and speaking with us, as well as Jill Marie Rothschild. I've gotten to know the Jewish Family Services group very well. We work well together, and I want to thank them for all the work that they do for our community. It's amazing work. And that's the next topic I actually wanted to talk about, was that the town continues to grow the program. We're now helping over 120 neighbors in town, which is great, but we still need more volunteers. The town currently only has 29 volunteers. So if you want to become a volunteer or you're in need of help, please feel free to call either myself or the town clerk, Luisa Ingracia, and we can get you set up to go forward. We definitely need volunteers for the program. We have people participating. We're getting more people every day, but the more volunteers, you know, obviously more people make light work. So let's get you set up and come on in. June 30th, I believe this hasn't been mentioned, June 30th, we'll be having a blood drive here at Town Hall, 99 Tower Drive, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So make sure you stop off and wish our town clerk, who we do this every year for, Luisa Ingracia, a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Luisa. All right, as she'll be celebrating her birthday on June 30th. I want to congratulate all the seniors and wish them luck in their future endeavors. And I also want to wish a happy birthday to some friends of mine, Steve Vanella and Rachel Vanella. They're celebrating birthdays in the month of July. So if you see them around town, they do a lot of volunteer work around in our community. They work at the community garden. They work, you know, with the girls, do a lot of work with the Girl Scouts. You know, Steve helped cook a spaghetti meatball dinner for the town, for some of the town elected officials a few months ago. So he's having his birthday. He just retired from the NYPD after 20 years of service down there working in special operations. So good luck, Steve, in your retirement, and happy birthday to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Johnson.
Thank you. I'll start with the building department. For the month of May, there was 74 permits issued. Certificates completed were 32. Total fees collected were $70,351. They addressed 286 complaints and carried out 865 inspections. So again, a lot of work by that department. In the water and sewer, as always, there were several leaks that needed to be repaired. And again, you know, thank you for understanding why this is going on. Several hydrants in Mechanicstown were replaced that were identified with the flushing. We have several more to do in the Scotchtown area in the coming weeks. And they've been very busy doing valve maintenance and repairs in areas where there's large construction going on. And that's in addition to the regular maintenance and valve cleaning that happens all the time. The crews were working on the sewer manholes, prepping the roads. You heard Councilman Coyne mention for paving. The manholes have to be raised up so you can pave around those. They've been busy doing that. And there was a lot of repairs that needed to be conducted at the Overhill Park Circle area when they did the gas construction job there. Recently, there was work done at the sewer plant to alleviate drainage issues with the heavy rain that we've been having, and that was done in-house, which saves significant funds. And you heard me mention before the wastewater treatment project. It's still at the final stages to go out to bid. And they meet pretty much daily with contractors to mark out projects for digging and so forth for water and sewer lines. Also, now that COVID is not as scary as it was, the department is getting back to making appointments to change meters and get rid of the old transmitters and get the new ones that are more digital and much more efficient. And like everybody else, if you tried to buy or do anything, you know that there's a supply chain issue. So it certainly put a damper on some of the things that need to happen, items that they need to order and usually get within a day are taking weeks or even longer, in addition to the price increases that are constantly going on with supply and demand. So that's been difficult for the department. And as always, routine maintenance at the wastewater treatment plant continues 365 and the water treatment plant as well, while they get ready for the high demand of the warmer summer months. Let's see, we also have the accounting department. There's been a lot of discussion and conversation with regards to that department lately, with the largest issue being the ongoing staffing issues that pretty much the dismantling of the department and restructuring that took place in early 2020. That has left the department down to pretty much a staff of one and a controller, making it very difficult to get all the daily duties that need to be accomplished done, and leaving little time for higher level analysis and reporting. But on a positive note, we're trying to add staff there. So there is currently a position for deputy controller. So the description is on the website as well as the ad that was in the Times Child record. So if anybody is eligible, please step in and apply, because we can certainly use the help. As far as comments, I would just like to say, as an educator, the recognition, of Pride Month and Juneteenth obviously is something that we don't take lightly and do to the best of our ability anytime in the school system, and try and welcome everybody regardless and create a safe environment. Right down to the gender neutral bathrooms you heard mentioned earlier, the schools have. So I just want to say a big thank you to Bishop James Rollins and Jill Marie Rothschild, because I think that was a great presentation and much needed. Obviously, I want to wish everyone a happy July 4th and a safe one at that. Please let the fireworks stay the professionals so you can keep all your digits, and a safe, happy start to summer, which actually happened on the 21st, the longest day of the year. So, enjoy your family and your time and the outside weather, and certainly everything the town of Walk Hill has to offer. The last thing I need to say or discuss is graduation. We have, this Friday, tomorrow night is Pine Bush's graduation for probably 400 seniors plus. And it's very important that we recognize to make change, you have to start with your youth, right? Because you can change them because their minds are still moldable, and you can reach them and get them to realize and understand things that some, older individuals might not be so welcome to. So by addressing that with the youth and moving them forward, they become our future leaders that can do great things. And that's really, really important that happens. I've said before that the change that this society desperately needs today so much is from our youth that's moving up. So, I wish all them luck and the best, and I really hope that they go out and change the world, because, it definitely needs to happen. Thank you.
Thank you. First and foremost, I want to thank Bishop Rollins for coming here and giving us a history on Juneteenth, and Jill Marie Rothschild for giving us a look at the LBGT community for seniors. Next week, like I had stated earlier, we're going to be meeting with the seniors and hopefully they realize that we're here for them. So just a couple of things. Today I had the opportunity, everyone knows Restaurant Impossible were in the town of Walk Hill this week. And I had the opportunity today to meet with Robert Irvine, with Steve Newhouse and Amanda Dane, who's in charge of tourism and film for the county. And Mr. Irvine was a gentleman. I mean, he was, you would think we met him before. Well, Mr. Newhouse, the county exec, had met him before out in Iraq. And it was great to see him come into our town and do this for this restaurant. The episode, I believe, is coming in 6 to 8 weeks, so look out for it. And like I had said earlier, it's important for us as a community to support our small business, which is why I think it's important for the town to put the small businesses out there so people can know, especially the new businesses. June 30th, the blood drive. If you do give blood, you get a t-shirt from some baseball team. I already got my shirt already. I'll say it, the Mets, you get a Met t-shirt. I don't know how that happened, but you know, I might win a ticket. I'll go to the game, you know, I'll do it. I'm going to. I'm gonna get blood. So you can have my t-shirt. We have our fishing derby this weekend at Circleville, 9 to 11. And we have our fireworks on July 3rd, 6:30, the gates are open. Couple of things. First, I would like to thank Luisa and Gracia for helping me identify great people in our community. Mr. Sturman, Mr. Anderson, thank you. Thank you for being part of our community for so long. Congratulations to Councilman Coyne, Councilman Valentine being recognized by the Youth Bureau of Orange County. And also congratulations to the class of 2022. In regards to birthday, we have a couple of birthdays coming up before our next board. My assessor is going to have a birthday sometime in July, and my planning board administrator, Rudy Charles, will also have a birthday coming up. Give them a happy birthday. Just to speak on, I came into office 5 months ago, 6 months ago. A lot of times I've asked people, what has this town done? What are we doing? How can we go forward? Let's be positive. To just speak about what Councilman Valentine has stated earlier, there is a lot of ugly in this world. There is. No matter where you look, unfortunately, there is. And when we as a town try to be positive, you know, I don't understand that. Everyone just looks for the bad. At that case, it doesn't matter to me because we got to look forward. We got to be positive. And we're going to go forward and we're going to keep it positive. I'm here for the town, not for the individuals. If someone wants to come and talk to me, I do have conversation with the supervisors on Saturdays when we announce the next one. I want to help them come talk to me. We're all adults. We agree to disagree. We have conversations. You can't have a conversation, that's on you. But me, I'm going to be positive and doing what I know and what the town board knows is good and positive for the town. Thank you. Town clerk.
Thank you. Early voting ends on Sunday. The easiest place for folks here would be the Mulberry House on West Main Street in Middletown. And speaking with Board of Elections today, because we do have all our polling places here open on primary day, and they tell me that there are, I believe, almost 280,000 registered voters in Orange County that are eligible to vote in the primary. And there's been about 1,200 people who've taken part in the early voting. So both parties have primaries, so you should probably take a chance and go out there and vote. I want to pass along my condolences to the Middletown City Clerk, who was recently appointed there, Rick McCormick. I've known Rick for a very long time. His dad passed away recently, and I think Eric may know them. They've been longtime residents in Scotchtown, and just a great family.
When did that happen, Louise? I didn't even know that. Oh, my gosh.
I worked with Pat, Mrs. McCormick. I worked with her in the school district many years back. And Rick is he's going to be an exciting city clerk for the city of Middletown. He's a young man. And I just want to send my condolences along to them because they're a lovely family. Linda and I both, Linda Harahan, our receiver, we both had the opportunity this month to attend training. Some people say to me, oh, you just go there, it's a big party. There's a little party, but when you come away from those things, you always learn something. And Linda this time wants to get involved with the state organization, and she was elected as District 11 Director, which covers, I believe, 4 counties, including Orange. So she's going to be busy doing that and having some local training. I do a lot of local training here. The town gives us the opportunity to use this building, and we do a lot of town clerk training here. So Linda's probably going to be doing that as well coming forward. And as far as our friends Rob and Steve, when George asked me, he said, do you know of anyone that we might be able to honor? And I said, well, I do know these 2 guys who we have known. I have known, what did you say? You said I was a little tiny girl. Get that right? I was a little girl. We've known these gentlemen for a very, very long time. And they have survived in a business that some folks go into and are in for a few years, and then their clientele falls off or their people fall off. I know a lot of ladies and gentlemen that these gentlemen have been taking care of them for the better part of, I don't know, 36, 37 years. We didn't mention that Rob is also a Vietnam veteran. We didn't mention that. And Rob's family had a dairy farm here, and he is a great baker. And I think it's just it's a positive thing. Like the supervisor said, when we talk about small business owners, not only do they have a small business, they have a home here, and they've had a home in the town for almost 40 years. And they just are probably 2 of the nicest people. And I told a quick story when we first got here that my sister, who was very young at the time, I think probably too young to be doing that, worked with these gentlemen when she was trying to become a hairdresser, and she swept floors and washed hair and did a lot of things. And they said, hey, DA, let's go on a hot air balloon ride. And DA said, sure, I'll go. And I think Dad ponied up the money, or Rob ponied up the money, and it ended in a little bit of a crash.
Oh, my
And
gosh.
no one was hurt. And I told Rob that DA talks about that a lot, and she's ready. Whenever anybody wants to go again, she is ready.
You've got to join us, though.
And I love you both very much. And I'm grateful that you're here. Take care. Thank you.
Good. Good story, Louisa.
Thank you. That was good. Commissioner?
Hello. All right, we're there. Good evening, everyone. The council members covered a lot of stuff that's going on in DPW. Been extremely busy, a lot of good things going on in the town. Just to wrap up, I missed the last meeting. We did wrap up bulk pickup. It was a very successful year. Thankfully, we got bulk pickup done before the spike in the diesel prices. We were a little over on the tonnage this year, but all in all, it was a good, successful year for bulk pickup. Talking about DPW in general and the Parks Department, again, great job by Jay McClintock and our parks. Councilman Valentin spoke about all the parks are open, busy summer season. Circleville Park Beach is open. Like we talked about, the Boys and Girls Club camp begins on Monday, the 27th. Some areas of Circleville Park do have limited access during camp hours, so just be aware of that. Out to the golf course, we've repaved the entire parking lot, so that looks awesome. And the siding is right now about 90% complete. So even if you're not a golfer, stop out, take a look at the place, grab a burger. The grill room is doing amazing. The catering is doing amazing. And there's just a lot of good things going on out there. Corns Campground is having a great year. Memorial Day weekend, they were sold out. I was out there on Monday, took a look around the place. I know the supervisor visited it last month also. But Corns Campground is open, thriving. So if you're a camper, stop out and check them out. The town OEM, we had a meeting here Monday night with all of our OEM partners. We're continuing to monitor, events and emergencies in the town. And also we're preparing for a busy summer season. July 3rd, of course, the fireworks celebration and all the upcoming concerts that are going to be held at the fairgrounds. And we are developing a large scale drill for later this year in the town. COVID test kits are still available. We have numerous test kits in this building and also police dispatch. So if anyone would like to have COVID test kits, go ahead and grab them. Like I said, a couple of things just to wrap up. I did miss the May meeting. We had a retirement from the highway department, Bill Brewster. Bill Brewster retired on May 23rd. Bill had 34 years of service with the highway department, so he will certainly be missed. That's for sure. So wish him well in his retirement. Great to see Bishop Rollins here tonight. Him and I, about 10 years ago, for some crazy reason, used to hang out at the Middletown School Board meetings that used to go literally till midnight, 1 a.m. So we were reminiscing about that the other day when he was in the building. And then, of course, Steve and Rob, Louisa summed it up best. But just to go back again with Steve and with Rob specifically and his family, the Abramson family, Abrahamson, right?
No H, no H.
We always talk about the H, but the Abramson family, of course, Abramson Road out in the Howells area. Rob's dad, Morris Abramson, was almost close to being a charter member, the Howells Fire Company. And unfortunately, I heard of his passing and the way that went on. I didn't know that, of course, until Bruce's passing. But Rob's dad was a fireman in Howells for an extremely long period of time. Rob's brother Bruce was a fireman in Howells for well over 50 years. And we lost him last fall. But anyway, like I said, just an amazing family dedicated to the community. Literally, more than 2, if not 3 generations of lifetime service to the town. So it was extremely humbling, of course, to see you guys recognized here tonight. Congratulations on everything you do for our community. That's for damn sure. So thank you.
Chief?
Good evening. All the great news here tonight and all the great information being shared, then you come to me. I'll end with 2 good things. I can promise that. And I'll start with one good thing. Louisa, sorry, I'm not going to be there, but at your event, happy birthday. And may you have many, many, many more. Happy 35th birthday, many more. And 35, 36, 36, sorry. The New York Metropolitan t-shirts, the supervisor promised to get me one. He was going to be there and give his shirt to me. So I'm going to hold him to that. Thank you. Large for me, please. Thank you. The Councilman Valentin talked about the DRE program. Coincidentally enough, the department just received another grant, which we'll be utilizing this summer for DWI enforcement. With the DRE now, we can more aggressively deal with some of the issues that we faced for many years, irrespective of the legalization of cannabis. Cannabis has been used, illegally, right? For years now, it's legal. It's been a problem for years when people overindulge. If people reasonably indulge in alcohol, reasonably indulge in cannabis, they don't pose a danger. It's the overindulgence, right, that poses a danger to the community. And with the increased enforcement money coming for the holiday season, July 4th and Labor Day in particular, we're going to be able to target those cases. Regarding graduation, it is a wonderful time of year, as many people have mentioned, but we also see an increase in fatalities of young youth, that overindulge, right? Alcohol, drugs. Please, word of caution to everyone out there, keep an eye on the youngsters. Fireworks. Yes, we like to say leave it to the professionals. That's not what happens. So much illegal fireworks comes across the border on a regular basis. It's almost impossible to enforce it, right? To any great degree. We ask that people use common sense standard if they're going to use fireworks, because we know they're going to use them. But if you overindulge in alcohol, overindulge in any drug use, and combine that with fireworks, we see the cases year after year in the trauma center here. And they're horrific injuries, disfigurement, loss of sight, Please be careful out there. Two good notes I'll end on. The Youth Bureau Award Ceremony was a wonderful event in addition to the youth who were recognized. One thing, two of our councilmen, Eric and Mark, are recognized. One thing the county executive pointed out, that this town collectively, the town board, the town police department, our youth leader, everyone in the town does a wonderful job. We're a model for others in our town. The work we put in with our youth on a regular basis, dealing with little issues before they become big issues, often goes unrecognized. It was nice to see our youth leaders and two of our councilmen being recognized, Eric and Mark, this year, but thank the whole entire board for all the work we've all done individually and collectively, including the town supervisor. And then lastly, congratulations to Sergeant Frank Scala, who retired. We had a great walkout ceremony for him. It was well attended, and we wish him the greatest of success in his newest career. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have public participation. We'll start with the audience.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tom Nosrally. I'm with the Office of the Town of Walk Hill Historian, and I'm also with the Town of Walsall Association of Historical Programs. We present historical programs each month on the second Saturday. Hopefully, it won't interfere with Georgia Saturday, unless we could do it together. Anyway, the July program is on the 9th at 2 p.m. right here in Town Hall. The program will be about the Orange County Department of Health and be presented by Danielle Mosier. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Anyone on Zoom? Anyone in the audience?
Couple of things that were said weren't true. Last year, we actually had a Pride Festival. So we didn't do that this year. One thing. The second thing, if you guys can recall, March, I came up here and gave you credit for the Black History Month event. So I did give you credit for that. So that's not true that it's always negative. This just to me wasn't acceptable after for 3 months. I spoke about the enslaved in this town, as well as Juneteenth was coming. What's the purpose in getting in front of this microphone if I have to have a side conversation with you after? You can definitely reach out to me anytime if you would like to have a conversation as well. The other thing is, I hope that these flags won't go to use, at least for the next 7 days. You could put them out in front of town hall on a flagpole and let the rest of the community see them and show the pride that you have in the Pride community, as well as the Black people in this community. Thank you.
Zoom? Audience? Go right ahead.
Sorry, I did forget one thing. July 4th parade, Circleville. Circleville Fire Company this year is celebrating 75 years of service to the community. And on the 4th of July, they will be having their annual 4th of July parade. Lines up at 9 o'clock at the elementary school, and it steps off at 10 o'clock and it breaks up at the Circleville Park. We had a meeting here the other night. Circleville Assistant Chief Kevin Holland was here. There's actually 10 other Circlevilles in the United States. And they've invited them all to come in March for the 75th. Not sure if they're coming or not, but a little bit of trivia there, Mr. History Man. But plan to see you at the 4th of July parade in Circleville. It's an awesome experience. Come on out early, line up on 302 Goshen Turnpike, come up into the park afterwards, grab a hot dog. It's just a great day, great way to have a great time and a great sense of community. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yep, Obed Figueroa, Blumel Road. I just want to say, when I got back from vacation after the last holiday, I literally was washing my dogs an hour after we got home. There was a head-on car accident in front of my house. Ran out barefoot, made sure everybody in the car was alive. Told everyone to call 911. By the time I got my shoes on, back outside, police officers were out and helping with traffic. Fire department came in, took care of everybody. Fantastic job. Thank you, Chief.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone on Zoom? Anyone in the audience? Absolutely good.
Just along the lines is what the chief was saying about graduation. We want all our about graduation. We want all our kids to be careful. We want our parents watching and making sure no one's drinking and driving or doing anything else in driving. And also with the summer months, as everyone knows, there's more kids out playing on the roads and in the yards. Sometimes they'll walk out into the street. So along the lines with what the chief was saying, everyone, please be extra vigilant when you're driving, particularly in residential neighborhoods, watching out for kids, because I know in my neighborhood, I don't live in the town, I live in the next town over, on a street with a lot of little kids. They'll come darting out into the road. Sometimes they'll be chasing a pet that got away. Sometimes they'll be just running around. Please be careful. Please exhibit caution. Whatever the speed limit is, be mindful that someone could be running out there, and let's try and avoid those kind of tragedies this summer. That was all. Thank you.
One last thing, starting Monday, June 27th, Town Hall, summer hours are going to start. It'll be 8 to 4, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Town Hall will be open. With that being said, I make a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Have a good night. Thanks for coming.